from week to week, play day to play day as well, and heading into playoffs, a team with so much experience, I think rightly go in as favourites, but it is playoffs and anything can happen.
So, as we head into Cafe first, of course, it will be the map that NOCAP have selected. Not a whole lot of information when it does come to Cafe for Asia. This stage, guys, only picked once, which is equal with Lair and Border. It's been heavily Clubhouse favored. The Asia League has been heavily. And in fact, then the second pick is Labs, and we get that here. Chalet, bit quiet, a map that we typically see, but not so much this stage. So I'm curious to see if we do get to the deciding map. From here on out, though, it is do or die for these teams. The long trip, the long journey to Montreal, not just talking about flight times, Michael, but also talking about the fact there's a lot of best of threes that need to be won. Quarterfinal, into a semi-final, into a grand final. It starts now as NOCAP and Direwolves go toe-to-toe into Cafe.
So the Blitz Monty combination off the board continues to be rather prevalent on a global level. Monty certainly has a much higher ban rate, but the Blitz not really exempt from being banned in many of these occasions as well. And so that should free up the defense to maybe be a little bit more aggressive than they otherwise would be allowed with the shields up. Valkyrie to follow through, and on a map like Cafe with a lot of vertical opportunities, that's a very reasonable ban defensively. And that will likely be followed up with Mirror. And right on cue, there is the Mirror as well. So nothing standing out as being crazy in this 2024 Stage 2 meta.
It's 3 of the top 4 in terms of overall presence, guys, actually. I think you might have slightly touched on it there with the Montang, but all 3 of the Valkyrie, the Mirror, the Montang, and in terms of what presence means, it means, you know, either banned or selected. So the Blitz, the only other one, and it's not really a surprised to see kind of the double shield ban, considering how prevalent the shield operators have been. Most banned operators this league have been Montang and Valkyrie. Mirror closing out a top 5. That does also include Ying and Tuberou. Well, it's actually 6th. So, yeah, as you said, I think very default kind of bans coming in for this. Nothing too special where we're seeing like a super hard target ban. It's just the way that the meta kind of is right now. There's just too many strong operators that you kind of need to take off the board. A little bit of eyes on Harambe, who has certainly struggled in the opening stage. One of the lower rated players for EPS. Bin as well in his debut stage certainly hasn't been able to find the success he would have liked. Is it all going to be up to the likes of Pika, Seal, Souffle to get Direwolves into a semi-final? As for NOCAP, Onigiri continues to return to his best form, and as a team, they are all collectively strong. And certainly the favored of the 2 teams in this best of 3 matchup.
Yeah, so quite an aggressive opening lineup here from the attack. The Glaz and the Sense combo is one that teams have dabbled in from time to time. Very mixed success, very volatile. You need to get a lot of value from the Glaz and those Sense walls. Glaz can be quite mobile behind the walls, but it allows for rather aggressive plays, and I'm assuming that the play here for NOCAP is going to be to utilize that for the bakery clear. And that will make it a little bit challenging for the defense. There is no Warden on the board to hard counter that. And so whoever is going to be playing bakery, and it looks like it's Seal on the Aruni, is going to be tasked with quite a challenge here. There is the wall. Onigiri peek. Flames go out with the punch, so goes deep with the shield, and Onigiri able to collect the kill off the back of that pressure. That's a really good clear from the attack.
Yeah, I mean, NOCAP certainly have got the prominence within them to attack. They bring the Glaz Sense combo, and certainly some success in getting bakery control. Yellow ping, easy info on where Pika is holding. And Mr. Punch able to swing around with the pistol, find the kill as the fused shield somewhat emulating the blitz that was banned out by Direwolves. Mark will get the plant inside, and again, highlighted it in the pre-show discussion, Guz, and feels good when you kind of do the research. Another plant for NOCAP, the best team in the league for getting those plants down. Flawless round to kickstart really the whole way through. No real defense offered up by Direwolves, and again, it does kind of then go back to the pre-show graphic where their defensive win rate is not that great, and even on maps like Cafe, if you're giving up these kind of rounds on these kind of sites, it is not going to bode well for you.
Yeah, a bit of a concerning start for Direwolves on the flip side, though, for NOCAP. Very clinical clear there, very set play strategy in that particular round of the back of the sense. And the Glaz, I personally overlooked the value of the Fuse Shield there, but it certainly helped in facilitating pressure. And it is a fallback strategy when you see both the Monty and the Blitz taken off the board. Some teams are that desperate, or that willing, I suppose, to force the shield into their composition that the Fuse fallback can provide value. We saw it on the Bakery clear, and that then began the cascade effect for the rest of the defense, which fell apart. So good stuff for NOCAP, as you mentioned as well, a plant on the board, which is rather rare in this matter. 31% though is a very strong number. And so we'll see if that trend does continue. Interestingly enough, I was avoiding top 4 here on the second round instead of letting
Yeah, I don't know if that's personal preference, but also at the same time, Bar Cocktail, while teams do like to maybe prioritize it in terms of the order, it doesn't always necessarily have the same stats as, say, like a Reading and Fireplace. So no one was able to get a single kill for Direwolves. Of course, a flawless round start for NOCAP. A little bit disappointing for them, collectively. The other thing as well, with these kind of matches as well, these kind of best of threes, talk about perfect preparation then going into a semi-final against Elevate for the winner of this series. If NOCAP win this 2-0, look good, build form. I tell you what, that semi-final is going to be an absolute banger. The old Elevate v the new. A spot in the grand final. Long way to go here. Direwolves wanting to, of course, find some form at the right time and spoil that party. Nigiri in through shot, looking for a top floor clear. No surprise, there is a hold over towards Cocktail. And even in towards Backstore as well. Bin holding on the castle, so some clearing to do for NOCAP. And clearing they will. Nigiri straight in. Easy pressure and deals with the one might. Harambe will fall elsewhere. Bin tries to recover the position in towards Cocktail, but drops the hatch, gives it up. 2 players gone for Direwolves, and a really lovely clear from NOCAP.
Yeah, again, just systematically breaking down this defense.
Nigiri's in sight.
Yeah.
Maybe a little over-aggressive there, but didn't matter. Scatman was able to still get the trade on to Bin. Last one, White Stairs, DCH. We'll put him to bed early. Happy days for NOCAP. 2-0 to start here on Cafe. It is, of course, their map pick. An attack side start like this from NOCAP sets the tone early.
Yeah, they're wiping the floor here a little bit. Feels like this has set the stage for quite a dominant opening map. Labs should be a bit of a different story on pure map veto theory, but again, as you sort of mentioned, it also hasn't been an amazing map for Dials, despite being their highest preference. Their record there is a little bit questionable. But, yeah.
Well,
NOCAP
8-6 against Hasib, where they only got 3 defensive rounds on a map like Labs, doesn't give me much hope. And the fact that they also had lost it to this very team in NOCAP not too long ago, just last week, 7-5, again struggling on defense.
I can only suppose that they've gone into this week with the goal of hard Counter-Strike with this completed over on Labs. Cafe's a bit of a throwaway in the veto. Chalet, I suppose, then is a point of reference. 4th highest preference map. Rivals, but for NOCAP 6. It's not a particularly well-favored map for either roster. Purely based on just Cafe in its bubble right now, NOCAP are well and truly dominating the opening portion of this match. On attack, they're really strong. They're bringing quite a varied composition as well to count this particular round. So they're looking quite flexible here on Cafe and ready to dabble into different ideas. So the Deimos here in the 3rd round rather reappears again as well. That could be used to help clear the ADS devices, for instance. And the Deimos to hunt down those on the ground.
Yeah, Mark kind of flicking between the Habana or the Ace, depending on site dependency. Amos comes out for the first time.
Surveying for hosp.
Arguably the first real change up in terms of the defensive lineup as well for Direwolves. Yeah, the Pulse, the Warden, haven't seen that from them so far. It's DCH that will find the opening kill. 3 in a row now for NOCAP. And with those 3 kills, I'm almost certain they've actually now overtaken Direwolves for entries. So just like that from bottom 2. And then above the Direwolves. And the weakest part of the game for NOCAP throughout the regular stage, they've actually improved on it. Final play day, now to start the playoffs. They're still getting plants, they're still doing well on attack. They are building some really solid form heading into these playoffs and continuing. Deathmark out from DCH, looking to track maybe Harambe. Cancels it. Now recommits it. So Harambe being tracked. Bin Bin though finds a nice kill on White Stairs and does deal with the repelling DCH. Little trade. Suddenly now 3v3. Most winnable around has now been for Direwolves, but Mark looking to encroach upon the site in towards Cocktail and get the plant down. Scatman loses his life. Double from Bin Bin as Mr. Puncher the repel and eventually loses his life as well to Souffle. Direwolves are on the board. Certainly a scrappy affair. Shots ringing out. Not structured siege, not really ultra methodical, but they were able to get some really good kills, and Bin Bin especially stood up in that round.
Yeah, the pacing of these rounds is rather aggressive, and NOCAP is setting that tone, pretty heavily relying on the repel game there in the previous round. Didn't quite work out. Direwolves were able to unlock a lot of these positions. It was a 4 versus 5. We saw, yeah, the plan attempt here from Mark was incredibly aggressive, and I don't think the coverage was really well placed there to prevent the retake attempt or the denial from the defense. So I think NOCAP in that last round maybe just pulling the trigger on the plan a little bit too early proved to be rather costly. But credit to Direwolves, much better round from them, and being able to sort of rise, I think, to the pressure and the tempo that NOCAP are looking to set.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds left before insertion.
A good to get one on the board though, and also individually for Bin Bin to find 4 kills. A significant round for him. There were certainly some eyes on his debut season, and while it hasn't gone as expected, still enough time to make your mark and make your moment here in the playoffs. Direwolves on the board. Just a slight dent into this momentum of NOCAP after winning Bar Cocktail. We now head back down to Kitchen. What we second attempt. Last time out though, it was more of a, well, strange looking lineup where they brought the Sentry, the Vigil, the Aruni, the Goyo. Well, it's completely different now. A more conventional looking lineup. And they can really bunker down sight. Certainly get NOCAP to work. Last time it was way too easy. Onigiri has been good on these entries so far, 2 from 3 for him. Been showing presence, red stairs, just to be a nuisance, but not gonna overcommit.
Yeah, Onigiri's looked rather threatening throughout this game so far. He's hit himself as the stages progress. He's looking to aggress more and more through the early round and phase apply pressure and try to find picks where possible. NOCAP as a team, though, have been able to achieve that here in the 4th round, control up above, and that will allow the Buck and the Ram to get to work. Establish vert down below in towards Kitchen, trying to force the defenders offside, which you can sort of see here, visualized on the overhead. It really is just Pika on the objective. The rest of the defense is spread elsewhere. Bin Bin, though, able to find the first. That pick over towards coat check. So Scatman, I suppose, overtaking the main door. Either way, it does put the rest of the attack now at a man disadvantage. And I'll have to play this final portion of the execute rather flawlessly. VIP is still occupied as well, and the smoke canisters from VIP are stalling out this push.
Heavy emphasis right now on the potential hatch drop now for NOCAP. Doesn't always bode well. Still 2 gas babes as well for Harambe. Silent drop from Onigiri. Now to rush through, but he loses his life immediately. Good little pop-up in position from Pika. Only 2 up at the moment now for NOCAP. Mr. Punch did get that kill, that trade, but while he has position of the bomb chassis, really no time to go for that plant initially. Moves away. Can this get stuck down? Yokai on the way from Souffle, zooming on over, and it will just get there in time to deny. Vaults over, denied though from Bin Bin. Another kill for Mr. Punch, who goes for the replant. Mark needs to be able to watch this one now. No more Yokai. He lost the battle against Seal. Plant unsuccessful. Direwolves 2 in a row.
Yeah, clean work there. Able to get that open pick and then stalling out the rest of the push was pretty clean there from the defense. And so a match that felt like it was unraveling after the tempo set in the first couple of rounds. Divers have been able to bite back in this game, which is certainly good to see. I'd be interested to have a look at maybe the defensive win rate here over on Cafe. So if you give me a moment, I will
Defenders, protect your
pull
bombs
that
from
up.
being defused by attackers.
Because the expectation would be that Divers defensively here, at least 3 would set them up quite nicely. Now, Cafe hasn't been played, it's only been played the once in Asia, so I can't really take much from it. It was a 50-50
Defenders have discovered the location of a bomb.
One more round for Divers here would be a pretty good result, especially considering how the match started out.
10 seconds to go.
Well, a good response for Direwolves though, guys, because I'm gonna be honest, the opening 2 rounds looked very, very convincing for NOCAP. 2 attacking rounds on the board early and
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
incredibly dominant. Direwolves really lacked any kind of firepower. Gave up 2 opening deaths super early. Inbin also finding an opening kill in that 4th round has also changed that tide too. So Direwolves just fighting back nicely here. And the map pick of NOCAP in this best of 3. Mr. Punch having an excellent game at the moment. 6 kills to his name. I do think, though, if you're NOCAP, do you maybe just think about the overzealousness of the attacks at time. The way that Onigiri tries to push forward in that last round out of freeze that you hadn't cleared out the Azami. There's no due diligence done. It's kind of just, you know, full steam ahead. And while that worked in the opening 2 rounds, Direwolves look a little bit more prepared now.
Super and Onigiri looking to trade blows over towards the train. See if they can lurk down below, play Nitro Cell as NOCAP looked to clear from above. Maestro as well in play this round, and so that should feed additional information to the defense. And again, may be used to help facilitate Nitro play from down below, although it is just the one left for Souffle. Harambe over towards Pixel, yet to find a kill in this game. Trying to find some form here in the playoffs. Util clear lounge. Harambe has been forced back. No, he's still prone.
He's done it again. I'm sorry, but 2 rounds now. Onigiri has been able to just push forward, but he's not clearing things properly. He's going a little too aggressive. I mentioned it as well, goes to you. He started this round. Do you think that's an issue? Well, ultimately, he just rushes forward, doesn't clear out Pixel. And it's going to find them 1.5, really, with DCH on the floor. Could get brought back up. Not dead to rights yet. And Dietmark will make his way over, and they did get the trade. So, advantage temporarily to NOCAP. Bin wanting to get aggressive. Lodge Drone has done its job in hacking that EPC, and Bin will drop Pillar down over towards 90, and the Master Camp being a little bit of a nuisance. Eager trying to just see if he can do something from below. 30 seconds, though. Not a lot of time remaining.
Yeah, not a ton of time here for the attack, so any mistakes will be punished. Mark then to proceed over towards the default plan position, and Mr. Punch to play coverage. Mike over towards Filament denied. Can't stop him. Third in the round to land. And now it's left all up to Pika. 1 versus 3. Good collapse in the end net from NOCAP after a bit of a sloppy start over towards Pixel.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to have at least 1 Nitro Cell there at the end of that round to try and stop the reading default plant position. And if you don't have said utility, then you need to put yourself in better positions to deny it. Yeah, they did a decent job of, you know, kind of blocking over on the hallway side, but there was no real pressure towards default. The pillar drop in towards reading, and I mean, yes, they technically didn't have the numbers, and super unfortunate that Harambe couldn't get the finalized kill onto DCH. Had he done so, really would have made this end of round a little bit easier. As soon as that plant, though, is successful, the round is far and away lost for Direwolves, and continues a really solid trend, though, for NOCAP, where, again, they're able to get these plants down successfully. That's now what's that, like 3 of 5 rounds. That's a pretty good strike rate, guys, on Cafe as well. Again, it really does sort of highlight NoCap just have this ability to get the plant down. But yeah, I mean, again, bringing it back to Onigiri at the start of that round, well, I understand you want to be the entrant, you want to push forward, you want to clear these guys out quicker so they don't fall back. It just doesn't check Pixel, and it's a free kill for Harumba, who has been struggling. So I wouldn't mind seeing Onigiri just get out of 6th gear and go down to 5th gear instead. Slow it down a little.
Yeah, if he wants to push forward so aggressively, probably needs a bit of intel. So someone needs to be putting their hand up and joining ahead for the team.
Yeah, I mean, if he's feeling it, and he's saying, guys, like, I'm hot right now, like, just get him a live drone. And then if that's a live drone through Pixel at that moment, he probably gets the kill. But it's been an intriguing first half, though. You know, like, let's talk about some little momentum swings. The opening 2 rounds for NoCap came absolutely firing out of the blocks, but then the response from Direwolves, I don't know if this is harsh to say, but I almost wasn't expecting it, guys. I almost kind of felt like it was going to be a total beatdown, but they responded and responded well. And then to that, we get this kind of 5th round that proverbially, you know, is kind of neutral, right? Both teams 2-2, intriguing start. Harambe gets the kill onto Onigiri, and then it all comes kind of crumbling down for Direwolves. So, look, it's been a fun half for what Cafe can typically offer as a map. You know, 3 attacking rounds for NoCap. Direwolves have been competitive. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
I believe we are in the midst of a technical pause at the moment, so unfortunately we are going to have a rehost. That means that we're going to throw you guys to a break. Don't go too far. We'll be back in just a moment.
we return from the rehost, which does wipe our wonderful KDs, unfortunately, but back into the game. 3-2 lead for NOCAP. As Direwolves, I think at the very least, guys, are going to require this bar cocktail round. 3-3 half puts them in a better position, clearly going into the second half. NOCAP's been the better team, but the margin hasn't felt that significant.
No, certainly. There's been, pretty strange momentum shifts throughout this match. NOCAP came out of the gates incredibly strong. And I was getting quite scared for a very one-sided map and potentially series, but Divers have been able to capitalize on the moments here. Although a 2-round half for them on defense doesn't pitch a particularly favorable storyline for them. So the aim here must be 3. And it's top floor for the final round and a half. We're going to continue to see NOCAP lean back onto the Deimos and the Brava. Last time out on this side, they've looked to try and play an overlord's cocktail quite early on into the round, played a very heavy repel game as a means to try and hold crosses and deny plant denial. And they left a couple of positions out of sight, out of mind, and it proved quite costly. So we'll see what their approach is this time around, whether or not it's a bit more of a traditional take with hatches open, drop red, pixel, or do they maybe double down this time and look to manipulate cocktail? Based on where they're initially positioned and where their drones are being sent out, it does look like it will be a push in through shop and lounge. There to greet them though is Harambo, who's had a pretty good game so far, and a belt of utility such as those castle barricades as well.
I like how you say Harambo's had a pretty good game when he's 1-3. Maybe that's just the stage he's been having this season. Hasn't quite been amazing, and well, on cue, guys, on cue. He loses his life to Onigiri. Onigiri's entry stats over really the last 24 hours are looking quite immense as he continues to just build and build on his form heading into these playoffs. Unfortunate for Direwolves, once again, they find themselves a player down early on pressure. Souffle holds this pixel position, still with the deployable shield. Oh, Onigiri! And he's quick to adjust with the ADS, and Bin, well, he's put out on the side of the curb on a Monday night. And he will be going to the trash heap.
Yeah, he got slammed on that fight. Peeking out in a very aggressive position. Should be traded. Trigger discipline. Good for 1. And able to find a second as well. Oh, he finds all 3. Are you kidding me with the suppressor UMP? Peek has brought them out back here. Eventually, it is traded as he falls into the line of sight of Scatman in that skylight position. And so Seal now 49 HP. 2 more to find.
Well, jeez, I mean, they're actually going to double drop red though, and he should have this information if he heard the sound cue. Oh, the timing! He's looking at 1. No, he couldn't get him. Oh, that was a little bit messy to close the round out, and even a wry smile from Onigiri from most of the team, but they will take 4 attacking rounds here on Cafe. Great trigger discipline from Pika. I was going to say I haven't seen better myself, but I still recall a wonderful Friday night on Border from the Robert J. Monday many a time ago where he got a 4K, clutched up and won the round.
Different stakes though. I think that was for bronze elo, whereas this is for a spot at the major, so a little bit different.
Some people like their steaks rare, medium rare, others overcooked. I like mine with a bit of Rob J. Monday special sauce on them.
What?
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
I don't know what to make of that. Especially after Onigiri's comments last night. My mind has been distorted.
Yeah.
Moving forward though, round 7.
Yeah, no, move forward into this second half where NOCAP are very much now primed, I think, to kind of take this one out. It is their map pick, so the expectation was always for them to do well.
10 seconds.
Really, really solid attacking half, though. And I think it really continues to compound for Direwolves just their inability to defend, guys. We know that on Labs, which a map is just like Cafe, you can defend well on. They have also struggled there, despite picking it. So I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit cautious for them. It's just a freebie.
Reloading.
It's fired a little bit too soon. Plus G from Scatman, unable to land that shot. And look, it may be a case of NOCAP here will look to play very aggressive on the fringe. Look to contest repels as much as possible. Go for spawn picks in the other phase of these rounds as well to maybe give themselves the advantage. In terms of the lineup here for Rivals, we're going to see the Capital for the ground control, the clearance. And interestingly, the Flores as well will be brought in. I'm assuming that's in response to the Azami, the operator with the highest presence percentage at the moment, actually, globally, 77.3%. So very frequently kept. Even after being nerfed several times now at this point, the Azami continues to be a popular pick.
Yeah, I actually don't know what more you could realistically do, because it's one of those operators that it's either going to go bin tier, we're never going to see it, or it's just too strong and we see it firing away too much.
Oh.
Third highest presence in Asia as Bin gets the opening kill onto Mark. There's a swift follow-up from Seal. On to Mr. Punch. Oh, nice little tap though from DCH with the run out from Bake, and Souffle will lose his life. That's a very timely kill for NOCAP. Just was when it felt like maybe their defense was being picked apart. Harambe on the Capital with the diffuser. Thought about maybe putting pressure in towards Bake. Will think better of it. Rotates back up above. Could go back in towards, say, mining. And it left on the clock for the opening round of the second half. Of course, Bin on 1 HP, guys. While it's 4v3, he is not exactly fit to fight for long.
No, certainly not. Puts him in a very precarious position, especially with the Legion on the board as well. Nitro Souls will have an additional layer of threat as well. And so for Bin, it's about extracting as much value as he can in terms of info gathering, although both of his drones have been taken down. Now he can just look to maybe try and play the backline or get traded. Doesn't really do either. Good kill from Scatman. 20 seconds now on the clock for the rest of the attack to scramble.
Wait, Harambe, is he playing the Skylight? But he's got kit, so like he needs to get moving as well. Oh, and he almost lost his life. Then when he has lost his life, well, that's the game. Unless Direwolves can kill all 3 players. There's 1, 2 to go, but they've lost Seal. Pika needs to get the double kill. Can't get the diffuser. It's stuck on the roof. Horrible misplay from Direwolves. Guys, talk us through it. Where it all went wrong.
Well, yeah, having diffuser on roof so late into the round, whilst not absolutely disastrous, it had to be in anticipation for a set play where Harambe could more than likely be allowed to drop. They had to try and facilitate a calculated play there. Contesting that fight was not the play. Losing diffuser was... Oh, did we get the attack in time? Oh, that's clutch from the observers. Can we just take a moment to thank the observers for actually getting that attack in time? That's called very, very late. But yeah, back to that play. Contesting from Skylight was certainly not the play with kit in hand there. And as you mentioned, it meant that very quickly the round condition from Direwolves went from, oh, let's lean into like the Capital, maybe dropping and going for a bit of an off-meta plant, to, oh, we need to now quickly kill everyone and we have limited info. So very quickly shifted the needle towards NOCAP, who were able to clean up that.
Yeah, Harambe. I don't like. You could have honestly dropped kit like top red, because he would have had to drop top red anyway, Gus. So at the very least, it's there and it becomes somewhat more salvageable if he really does need to go to Skylight and use those as asphyxiating bolts or use the smokes. But to then peek it, like he puts the bolts out first and then peeks the Skylight when he has kit. And yeah, it ends up changing. That was 0.001 seconds on the clock there. Well done by our... is that observers? Admins?
I think that was Sky. I think that was Sky. I don't know. I haven't seen his mechanics that good for a while though, so maybe it wasn't. But I'm told it is Sky, but I don't believe it. Either way though, off the back of that tactical timeout, Divers really need to try to piece something together here. I can't help but feel that the way in which, especially they lost that last round, is not going to do a whole lot of great for their mental, and that's where they really need to show a bit of resilience here in this half. It's going to be tough. It's not their map pick, but if they could try and show something over the next couple of rounds, they might be able to continue this fight.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Harambe now 1 and 5, guys. Really struggling in this matchup. Bin, though, on the other hand, has been playing far and away better than what we typically see from him. On Kiri.
Loading new mag.
positive. Mr. Punch is positive. Scatman, DCH. A little bit of a misstep on the angle, though, by Mr. Punch. And eventually does lose his life to Souffle. Freebie goes the way of Direwolves.
I mean, they both misplayed that. Souffle was just lucky enough to have the superior angle. And so it does mean they have the opening kill. They've cleared the Vigil as well, which will be certainly welcomed. The entirety of the defense is now on first floor. So with the Buck and the Ram in play here from Direwolves, that's a big win con for them in being able to free up that vertical control and pressure. If I'm them, I'd be looking to really look to flush out and pressure the objective, and then ensure that those in positions to maybe retake or flank aren't able to do so. Mark looks a little bit threatening over towards VIP. Here's just one example.
How can Direwolves utilize this plant advantage that they've got here? Putting as much pressure as they can onto this first floor. Bin almost looking like he wants to go for the drop. Couple of flashes. His heat throws also a frag grenade. Flash though, ultimately to deal with. Scatman sits primed and ready for the eventual drop in towards Freezer. Seal trying to find an angle. Just temporarily, Direwolves though move away and try and see if they can find multiple avenues to hit site. Still got some drones that they can continue to utilize. Is there going to be any counter pressure though from NOCAP? Right now, everyone's just kind of sitting on site, playing their positions.
Yeah, the clash here, as the round goes on, is only going to become more powerful, so Elves are taking a lot of time here and need to be clinical.
Onigiri does get one. Harambe losing his life yet again as DCH followed up immediately. Onigiri, though, does lose his life to Pika, making his way down the main corridor and a second to follow. The clash not as easy to just shoot at, though. From above, DCH with a retake attempt. Couldn't get the kill onto Souffle. Trying to play off of the information from the clash as Pika and Bin combine to find the last two kills in the round. And Direwolves will continue to extend this game of Cafe.
Well, he went for the 360 there, and I'm pretty sure there was only about a second and a half on the clock, right? Clash there should have been playing for time. I suppose there could have been a plant reattempt in that time, though, so the clock was potentially irrelevant. The pressure from up above as well, unable to net a kill. Again, proving to be costly, and then the Deimos able to respond. So time was so close to being the biggest enemy for Giles in that round. 3v3, 10 seconds on the clock. DCH was able to retake up above. He doesn't get this kill here though onto Souffle. If he was able to drop it yet, it would be quite a different story. Yeah, 2 seconds on the clock. Clash goes for the 180. As I said, the plan probably would have been going down either way. So, yeah, decent clear there. Some divers and a good response off the back of the attack.
Well, it's going to take a lot more of those kind of rounds from Direwolves if they're going to bring back Cafe after giving up a 5-2 lead. I would imagine NOCAP on defense won't make too many mistakes.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Of course, they effectively played without Mr. Punch for that round after the issue towards White Stairs earlier on. 0-3 actually since the rehost for both himself and Mark. Dynamic duo. At one point, Mr. Punch had started off at 9-2, Guz. He's now 9-5.
So then can NOCAP get themselves onto a potential match point here in the 9th round. They're leaning into the pulse here and double nitro cell. So they'll look to gather information on the initial part of this round. Scatman currently positioned over towards reading / laundry. And so if they go for a cocktail centric clear, he's in a position to call that. and equally gaining no information will indicate that it's a top red stairs drop, which I think is ultimately what the attack will probably go for. Such EMPs are being deployed. And so Graham taking out over towards Joel. Mark contesting with a long line of sight, magnified MP5. Flores trying to try and disrupt that, but Onigiri also playing up close. Doubles have to try and break the throw.
Seal just trying to hope and wait that Mark will peek. Indeed, he does. So the biggest weakness of this NOCAP roster now coming to the foray, guys. I hate to say it, but it's now 5 of the last 6 rounds.
Oh, that's massive.
Kills have gone the way of Direwolves, but indeed, you are correct. A double kill Nitro from Scatman is quite large. Just when it felt like another round was maybe going to go the way of Direwolves, we're suddenly back to all square. 60 seconds left. The chances a foot was spotted there by Souffle, but doesn't shoot, doesn't feel the chance was really there. Still some pressure from above, despite that Nitrocell, but all eyes now will turn to where this plant will go down. Scatman has really no pressure at all. He's still on that pulse. Drop down from Souffle. Is this going to be heard? The barbed wire. Scatman was close by. Should still be somewhat close.
I mean, this is like
One below.
Here.
Yeah, easy kill. Scatman went for the contest. He was indeed close. Playing default. Lost his life, though. Souffle expecting the flank from Mr. Punch. Nicely done from Souffle, who gets all 3 of the kills all by himself as they essentially just charged at him, guys. Individually, one by one, and they all fell. Easy does it for Souffle. 5-4. And yet, suddenly, things falling apart for NOCAP. Again, 5 of the last 6 rounds, they have given up the opening kills.
Yeah, the opening kills hasn't been great. Souffle there, certainly the hero playmaker for Direwolves. Probably a bit more of a reflection of the team's inability to cover both the flank and then the planted up potential from the last remaining player of NOCAP. Souffle probably should have been covered, but still he had the presence of mind and then the mechanical ability to go for those kills and was successful. And that clinical nature that we saw in the first half, the first couple of rounds certainly from NOCAP, hasn't transitioned as well here defensively. We saw the overpeak initially top floor. Great double Nitro in response, and this was what got NOCAP back into the round. But then the Nitro for the Kaid was quite wasteful, and then the plant denial attempts with bodies having to be thrown and that Nitro not being pocketed still by DCH made things quite challenging. They could get that line of sight as Souffle was able to find each player as they picked.
Well, it just gets a little bit interesting again. But at no point in this game have Direwolves been able to get 3 rounds in a row. That is a feat that NOCAP have been able to accomplish. And they went 5-2 up. So to tie it all up, Direwolves will need 3 attacking rounds in a row. What's been largely 50-50 on this cafe? Bar cocktail we go. And need to find a way to get Mark and Mr. Punch into the game, guys. As great as Mr. Punch started at 9-2, he's now 9-6. Mark overall is now 2-6. Really struggling. The only player on the team that is negative. 0-2 on the entries. And yeah, that entry battle now is in favor of Direwolves. So the weakness of NOCAP coming back to kind of haunt them. And it just puts you on the back foot. You're just down a player. And especially when you're on defense and you're losing players early in these rounds. If Direwolves have got these kind of like consistent 5v4 rounds, so much more room to breathe, maneuver, take space around the map. NOCAP can't cover all of the angles. It's just far more difficult. There is certainly a way forward here for Direwolves.
So the Flores is again going to see an appearance here, and there is a lot of utility, especially info gathering utility, that the Flores can try to counter. Equally though, the Maestro can actually cut down at this drone economy, and I think that's why we're seeing them placed rather aggressively by Scatman. This is going to be a really interesting little moment here if Souffle is able to hack this camera or not. He has been able to quick peek that around the corner, stay within range, and so that's made pretty easy work of the first camera and the DPC to follow. Oh, maybe not. Was able to be stalled out. Let's see if they will try again with his second. And that one wasn't stalled out by the BPC. So really good work.
Oh, he's going to get this one as well.
He's got a lot of value.
Oh, yeah. Well, the clutch drone has certainly been valuable for Direwolves. You've got to play off it though. Scatman does get an opening kill. Okay, you turn the tide there. That's a good start for NOCAP. Weakens the potential for Direwolves after you get rid of their best player, Pika. Has the most kills inside of the server at the moment with 9, tied with Scatman and Mr. Punch. Scatman actually 7-2 since the rehost has been really standing tall for NOCAP. Battle to a shop, and I don't think Onigiri was quite ready for the close contact fight with Seal. Seal able to win that one out. Keeps this shop control and brings it back to a 4 versus 4. Certainly worrying times right now for NOCAP. They are just struggling to deal with the momentum that Direwolves have built up. Again, more skylight pressure. It hasn't been, though, the position you probably want to be in. Again, the peak from shop. This time Seal, though, loses out. Lost a big chunk of health. Scatman will fall back to Cocktail.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Yeah, 30 seconds though, so this attack needs to be a pretty flawless play. And again, that diffuser is once again on the roof.
Repel coming in, though, ready for it is DCH from Pillar. Nicely done, good positioning. Smoke wasn't going to stop those bullets. Punch will fall, but still the numbers flowing in favor of NOCAP. Another one dies with the balcony, leaves Seal in a 1v2, but he cannot beat out DCH, whose position down below proved to be the best position. He finds 2 over towards Pillar, and in the end, NOCAP will get themselves what is essentially map point.
Yeah, for the most part, that clear from Divers was really clean. We saw great value from the Brava. Clean clear over towards Shop. Unfortunately, though, I think, again, that decision to keep the diffuser in the hands of Harambe on the roof proves to be really risky. And, yeah, NOCAP have done a good job in denying that once more. So top floor showing signs of weakness for the attack. NOCAP now with a couple of opportunities to close out the first map in regulation.
Bulletproof camera deployed. Secure the wall! Walker is ready. Use it.
Well, it's certainly been a bit of a battle after NOCAP really got off to that flying start. There has been certainly good response by Direwolves, but NOCAP have just continued to control this game. Direwolves' ability to find 3 rounds in a row once again shut down. And it all kind of comes back to that opening kill mantra. When you look at the conversion rates, guys, it's I don't have the actual percentile number, but only 3 times have we seen around not 1 when a team does get the opening kill, and 2 of those from the side of Direwolves. And that's quite, you know, the perspective to have if you're NOCAP. Every time that you've got the opening kill, you've done pretty well in converting the round. They just can't seem to do it enough.
So again, we see Rambuck here for the attack. Fully expecting a map clear from Direwolves and then looking to get vertical pressure in towards the objective. NOCAP equally though, eager to contest a little bit. Not an ultra aggressive roam, but just enough to maybe cut down at the drone economy and maybe find something at the beginning of the round. Mr. Punch, I'm almost certain, is beginning to look away there and gets caught at the worst moment. But a good opening kill for Direwolves.
Oh, and it keeps things alive with the second kill following onto Onigiri. Seal having a pretty decent game, especially post-rehost, and a lovely job in opening up the floorboard to find a 3rd for Seal. And we will continue here on Cafe for just a bit longer at least. The first of 2 map points avoided for Direwolves, as this now is a tricky scenario for Mark and DCH. In a 2 versus 5, it would take something incredible for them to bring this round back. Still to deal with the Stamos as well. Tracking Mark does get at least 1 kill before his untimely death, and Direwolves will close the round out. 6-5. 6-5 and overtime potentially looming if they can find the next one.
Yeah, another good round from Direwolves, who continue to just keep pace with NOCAP, but it could all be for nothing if they are unable to win this next forthcoming round and push the game into overtime. Bit of pressure though here on NOCAP being their map pick. They will want value from Cafe, despite Labs still being quite questionable for Direwolves. There is always that opportunity for them to have cooked some pretty gnarly counter strats up that NOCAP may struggle against. So it all comes down now to reading and dining in regulation. Last time out, Souffle absolutely farmed the NOCAP, who had quite difficult to deny the plant. Forced into flanks and swings. The lack of utility is still available in the late round. So we'll see what they do this time around. Unlike last time where they had double nitro off the back of the Kaid and the Pulse, this time it is just the singular nitro cell. So something to keep in mind as the round progresses.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Well, a big round into a quarterfinal. This is not just, played A3. This is not just some random best of one where you can, get a couple of points. Your ability to go play at a major rests on moments and rounds such as these. 6-5. Can you force OT, reset mentally, then head into overtime looking to steal this map away from NOCAP when it looked really, all intents and purposes, dead and gone. In a big second half from Direwolves on the attack. More attacking rounds won than defense here on this Cafe, guys, as Seal gets yet another kill. 4 kills in the last 2 rounds now as he cracks well beyond double digits. Gets that one onto Mr. Punch, who has been abysmal since the rehost. He was 9-2. He's now 10-9.
So 2 minutes on the clock then. Can NOCAP salvage this round? DCH, a very aggressive position over towards Pillar, looking to deny entry in towards reading. Mark also has that cross from up above. Well, maybe he's sensing a rotation here. No, he'll double down and establish Vert now. So NOCAP are preparing for, again, another reading push. I think that's probably the right play, considering how Divers have played it in the past. Around by 0-5. So what he is able to accomplish in this particular round, still has 4 hive launches, can use that to try and create more space. As Divers look to contest the top 4.
0-3 on entry this game for Mr. Punch alone. It's been a struggle. But DCH fights back mid-round with that kill on to Pika, who has certainly been a little 50-50 this game. He's had some good moments, but does lose his life a little too easily. Harambe, could this be his moment? Could he stand up and get some crucial kills? So far, 1-8. Needs to find a little bit of pressure with the gun, more so than just the Kawan Hive launchers. The cardiac sensor being utilized now by Scatman does highlight 1. And now make that 2. The player above. 45 seconds. Souffle creeps around the corner in towards reading. Certainly gets some good space, but Mark will shut that down. And talk about the timing as he spots another one around the corner near default, and they fall apart. The Direwolves are going to lose this one. Seal needs to get essentially an ace. He needs the ace to win. 28 seconds. Drop down into Pillar. Knows there's one in towards mining. And that one is DCH who gets the job done. 1-0 up in the series for NOCAP.
Yes, and they had to grind their way through that particular map, did NOCAP. But a good start to the series and smiles all around after it felt like tensions were starting to rise a little bit over the course of that map. But they didn't let it bubble over and ultimately have set themselves up really nicely for this series.
It certainly does, and hopefully it sets up the series as a whole in terms of competitiveness when it comes to these two teams. 7-5 was a good scoreline, indicating there were certainly moments there for Direwolves. As we'll bring the desk back in and we'll give Guz a little break here. Dev, Rob, an intriguing game. Certainly at times it looked like NOCAP had a lot of the control, and it was the case in the end. But Direwolves, they don't discount them. They had some good moments.
No. I'm actually really impressed with Direwolves' second half. I think the first half you could probably take or leave it a little bit. I would have expected a little more on their Cafe defense, but Dev, the clapback, if you will, in the second half, really impressive from Direwolves. Now, I want to give you a bit of context as I throw to you with this. I spoke to Juicy last night just about like how the team's going overall after the match, because obviously, you know, they wanted to take a win in their final game. And he said, if we can stop the slow starts, we might actually start winning these games. Is this another case of a slow start?
Yeah, well, clearly this was a very slow start. It really felt like a tale of two halves, as you guys said. And I'm trying to figure out now, has Cafe flipped? This was an attacker-favored game, like quite convincingly. If you look at how most of the rounds panned out, both teams were really competent on their attack, and that says a lot, especially considering we haven't seen a lot of Cafe from either team. We haven't actually seen very much Cafe in Asia in general. And yeah, like you could argue that there are moments where they're dropping ball on defense, but I really just felt like both teams, they had a really solid idea of the win conditions. Like some of these hard to flush out positions that are typically really difficult to crack open. We saw the teams like, okay, we know how to clear that. We bring Brava to hack a lot of these bulletproof cameras. We're going to clear out these positions. A lot of really good hard breach usage to expose positions as well. And in that first half, it was all Onigiri finding his entries. It was 3 opening kills and 1 opening death in the 6 rounds in the first half. We saw Mr. Punch farming as well, as you pointed out, Jake. And in the second half, we literally saw the same thing, but on the opposite side from players like Pika and Seal. In particular, Seal, who really surprised me because he's not a star player for Direwolves, not typically, and he was the top fragger in this whole match despite his team losing.
Yeah, and was involved in the most amount of entries across the entire game. So, honestly, like a really close contest. And I was not expecting that. If I'm just being completely honest with you, Xenox, I kind of expected NOCAP, especially after that start, to really run away with that game. So I guess we've got to give credit to Direwolves and maybe say, hey, there's more legs in this game than what we thought.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way that the game started probably warped my opinion just a little bit. You know, the first 2 rounds from NOCAP, super aggressive. They got the opening kills. You know, they were getting plants down. Everything that we kind of discussed pre-show was sort of happening in their favor. The response then came from Direwolves, and you can see with the opening kills, 7-5, they did end up winning that. And that is the one concern still for NOCAP. And you kind of think ahead to, say, a series against Elevate. They just lack the ability to start well in these rounds, and Direwolves, and in the end, actually vastly dominated that second half in that department. They ended up actually getting 5 of the last 6, and it's actually even worse than that when it's 7 of the last 9 in terms of opening kills. So they really brought that back in terms of that, you know, compartment of the game. But I still think overall, you know, that's just one aspect. And while they're not great at that aspect, NOCAP, overall, they were certainly far and away better. Their attacks looked better because they were getting plants down, they were controlling the space, controlling the game, and their actually ability to then just deal with the fact that they're not winning the opening engagements, but still come back and win the rounds. You think about moments like that double Nitrocell, for example, over towards Cocktail. So they just found ways to be able to get like multi-kills, multi-frags, even I think without some of their players having amazing performances. You know, Mark negative, Onigiri ended up actually going negative in the end as well, despite his great start.
Yeah, and Dev, we now move over to Nighthaven Labs, which we know has obviously tended to lead defender-sided, but in terms of watching regions like OS play it and Asia, even to an extent, it feels like a real lack of the understanding of how to attack. And, you know, like looking at Direwolves' history so far, it's probably not the greatest trend. Obviously, they're just coming off the back of a pretty impressive attacking half on Cafe, but Nighthaven Labs is a bit of a different beast.
Yeah, very much. And what's funny for me about Nighthaven Labs is I feel like at a lower level, yeah, it's quite defender-sided. But if teams start to really figure out those attacks, then I can actually imagine it flipping attacker-sided like we saw with Cafe today. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with an attacker-favored series as a whole, which for me personally is great because it's much more exciting to see attacker-favored games than defensive-favored games. But to back it up with a little stat here, Direwolves, obviously, they played quite a lot of Nighthaven recently. They played it against NOCAP already. They played against Hasib. They also played a whole bunch in the EWC quals. But their attacking win rate stands at 50%, and their defense win rate at 33%. So they're actually better on their attack than their defense. And whereas NOCAP, on the flip side, on Nighthaven, actually dead even, 67% on both sides. Of course, you have to take into account the caliber of teams that they're playing against does skew the data a little bit. But for me, the big thing here is Direwolves, they lost the first map To be fair, that was expected. I think they gave it a really solid fight, and I was impressed by that. But they're going to Nighthaven Labs, and this is really where Direwolves have to prove that they have made improvements from the last time they played NoCap, because it was on this map, so it's counter-strat time. It's time to get in the server and show us what they have been doing in all their dry runs and what they learned from that match that they lost to NoCap just a couple of weeks ago.
Well, everything we've heard from Direwolves, everything we've seen, they're slow to start, but then they start to get into the game. Hopefully, in a best of 3, that will show true as we head to Nighthaven Labs. We need a quick break. We'll be back after this.
So for us, we've made the last 4 events: Atlanta, SI, Manchester, and obviously EWC most recently. So I think anything less than like a major qualification would be pretty much a failure for us coming into the season.
For every stage, our main goal is to make it to major. So it's also our expectation to beat like every team in this region and make it to major.
Be champion once again, just like last year, before we preparation.
This season is looking really good. The state of the game is something I'm really enjoying after a long time. It's really fun, and I'm looking forward to having a great time and hopefully securing a good position in this league.
We have a big enemy like Bleed, Elevate, so yeah, I expect to win against them and qualify for the major. That's what my goal right now.
Yeah, honestly, I think we can win like top 3 or top 4. We're like full of passion right now. Yeah, and I think that helps.
Our team has to play against the MENA region as well, because we normally play on UAE server. The 2 regions, Asia and MENA, they're very different in play style. That basically results in very unique ways to play the game, and I think it gives us an advantage in some of the situations against the Southeast Asian teams such as Fury Elevate. So we're gonna have to see how that pans out.
Yeah, it's Azuki, our core player, like our fragger. I would say it's the top 3, okay, top 3 fragger in our region. When he do the 1v1, he never lose 1v1, bro. Even he's like against like Rips 96, third. Okay, Krij sometimes, but yeah, he wins a lot.
I think for one, like the diversity in our team, like we have Leader from EU, Reaps from China, Hobbin from Indonesia, and I'm obviously from New Zealand. Especially with all the international experience we get, we can bring things back into this league that people have never seen before. So yeah, I would say that's what makes us unique from other teams.
My playstyle is kind of slow, and I like to do like structured stuff. I don't like random jump outs, stuff like that.
That's why my team plays that. I would think about the last season. I think the last season.
So we head into the second map of this quarterfinal, best of 3, Nighthaven Labs, with NoCap now leading Guz. Map pick, of course, for Direwolves, but that doesn't bring too much comfort considering their track record on this map.
No, their track record is a little bit up and down. There's been a couple of humps in the road for Direwolves on this map, so it's certainly a surprise to see them bring it out in this do or die best of 3. I am super confident that they're going to bring some counter strats into this game tonight, but whether or not they'll land, whether or not they'll actually work, only time will tell. Much like Cafe, we are going to see both of the shield bands off the board. So the Monty and the Blitz, as we talked about before, Monty with the second highest presence globally at the moment, and the Blitz, an annoyance that many teams don't want to deal with either. Much like the previous map of Cafe, so too we'll see the mirror off the board defensively. And if it's to be 1-to-1, we will also see the was it the Valkyrie off the board in last game? It was. and it will be the Valkyrie once more. So deviating actually between the last time these two played this map, where it was actually the Vigil out as opposed to the Mirror, but everything else the same.
NOCAP will begin on the defense here of Nighthaven Labs. I did go and have a quick little look in terms of the map itself so far this particular stage, and the numbers don't quite run the way that I would have expected Labs to run. You know, you think about Command Server, only a 47% defensive win rate, guys, in Asia. You think about Tank and Assembly Basement, well, guess what? Also 47%. So, I mean, dare I say, the statistics don't lie. Here in Asia, this map, slightly more favored to the attack, but we're talking about a genuine 50-50. And because of that, I mean, you've got to then back in NOCAP, considering they do kind of just edge out the majority of the statistics against Direwolves. I think, again, the same instances are going to apply here in terms of who's going to be getting these opening kills, controlling the pace, controlling the round. The one thing, though, is something like Command Server, as a site, holistically goes completely against the philosophy of NOCAP. A team that likes to get plants down and play the post plant. Well, it only has a 5.9% plant rate so far out of 17 site plays this stage. It's really low. The other sites, for example, guys, around 36%. So NOCAP are a team that like to get the plant down. This particular site is very difficult to do it. Of course, they're defending first, but second half we'll see.
Yeah. Maverick then for the first round here from Direwolves. They're not looking to get too fancy on the breach. I'll keep it pretty simple, and Harambe should be able to trick that in a relatively straightforward fashion. That being said, we don't actually see, outside of the mute, active wall denial here from NOCAP in the opening round, so no Tuba Rao and Bandit combination, or Kaid, for instance, which we have seen multiple teams attempt. Harambe content with the wall. I don't know if he actually did make it soft, though. Oh no, he did, okay. I just didn't hear the sound cue. I was a bit confused. I was just wondering if that getting the wall done, but wall now soft, so good work from him. Ace was going out elsewhere as well. I don't know if Binbin's looking to maybe open up Con, or if that's somewhere else. There's been a lot of talk, especially in OS, as to how teams attack this site. Quite one-dimensional over towards Warehouse. Here in Age, though, it tends to be a little bit more dynamic. So we'll see what they go for in this particular round. First Logic Bomb to go out. As Pika continues to hold the line over towards top blue. Almost thought that Mr. Puncher was going to go for a peek, but maybe just looking for a bit of information, as he is pretty eager to hold down that part of the map. The rest of Direwolves will rotate elsewhere, but it is Scatman to get the first.
Just prodding around these entry points on Akiri. The aggression, though, falters in the face of Souffle. That is not a position that he really needs to be peeking and pushing at this point in the round with 50 seconds left. Force Direwolves into you. He gives away his life. Smark, though, gets the kill onto Bin. No more hard breach, but no worries at this point. You've got to start hitting sight. These bees are buzzing, and the Quan Hive launcher being a nuisance. Another kill, this time over towards blue, as Pika clears out Mr. Punch and has got this hallway control. Deals with the F-Not mine. 3 versus 3 with 30 seconds.
30 seconds then standing between Direwolves and potentially winning this opening round. How are these key power positions being held by the defense? Well, one cut down, but an immediate trade. It leaves Pika on an island, and Mark cleans up house. Just not dislodged from this position is Mark. Wow, a couple of clean sharp shots there to conclude the round. Direwolves tried their best to poke and prod in that round, but falling short in the end.
Yeah, I mean, poking and prodding, I think, is the best way to really kind of summarize that round for Direwolves. I think they were quite lucky that NOCAP at times kind of went into them. You know, even Mr. Punch, I think, ended up swinging blue. We saw the positioning of Onigiri as well, and his aggression, and that got countered. So quite a couple of the kills in that round is just simply down to NOCAP. Somewhat either losing patience or thinking they could get aggressive towards the latter stages of the round, and ended up just kind of throwing some lives away. That's done for Mark, especially holding down sight. He gets 3 kills. Pika did okay, but in the end, couldn't do much more than just the opening 2 there for Direwolves. 1-0 start for NOCAP here on the map pick of Direwolves. Intriguing side choice here as well for the second round, Guz.
10 seconds left before insertion.
NOCAP seem to love this site, even though statistically it is, I am fairly sure, I'll double check because it's probably updated after a couple more play days, the worst defensive sided site in the game, and it actually, yeah, still is. So 10 plays globally here, Cafeteria Kitchen, and it has a defensive win rate of 30%. The only site kind of close in terms of win rate is Skyscraper Bedroom Bathroom, 37.5, so a big jump up. Yeah, this site is very difficult to defend because keeping control above on the vert is nearly impossible, and it opens up so many potential opportunities for the attack to exploit. So,
In Asia, it's the best site to defend, although only played twice. It is tied with Storage and Control, actually. Yeah, actually, from the 2 times it has been played, it does, though, have a 100% plant percentage.
Drone activated.
There's some strange statistics, of course, that will be altered a little bit at the conclusion of this round, at least. Not often that we see this. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually cast this in OS. Or maybe even at all, from visual memory. Let's see what Direwolves will do, though. Undertake this mission. It is one thing to also consider as well, you know, for NOCAP, if they've got proficiency on a heavy tertiary site such as this, Direwolves might not be as, you know, understanding as to how to actually, you know, take this. It's something to consider. You've chosen it for a reason. It's a bit like, you know, a bar stage or clubhouse. You don't see it often, but if a team does choose it, usually they've got a good game plan.
Oddly enough, Clubhouse is actually, bar stage, the least played objective in the game at the moment. Only 3 plays so far. So you are right. It's very rare. Very, very rare.
And broken clock, mate. There's one. And there's one, indeed, in the game as well, as Mr. Punch gets the opener kill onto Pico. Again, good signs when it comes to this department for NOCAP to begin on Night Haven Labs. 2 rounds in a row. But it's a swift trade and entry into Kitchen for Harambe. Will there be plant denial? Right now, the answer to that is yes! Oh! Very last second, the Nitro Cell from DCH. There wasn't much time remaining on that plant, and suddenly Seal, the only one left up. Mark will slaughter them inside a Kitchen. That is going to be a huge round win for NOCAP.
That plant denial is absolutely massive. If that plant is secured, retaking into those lines of sight, and especially when the attack can then post outside, it is so difficult, and a large reason again why that site is so attacker-sided. But DCH able to find an angle to land that nitro, I suppose.
Protect your bombs from being defused.
Dropped it in at the perfect moment, just in time. And so NOCAP now can rotate to basement. Certainly a much more favorable site for the defense. In fact, it is the most, again globally, the most defender-sided site on the map for Asia, specifically here on Labs. Letting the stats load up. It's not as strong. In fact, it's actually leaning a little bit more towards the attack, but still, teams that are fundamentally good defensively should, in theory, find more success on basement. So Direwolves now need to try their best to resist against a 3-0 start for their opposition.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Well, it started in a very similar fashion, of course, on Cafe, opening map. NOCAP won the opening 2 rounds. That was on attack, though. This now defense labs. Usually I'd be kind of sprouting the line about, you know, defense labs, guys, but I don't think it's applicable in a match like this, and certainly not with Direwolves, a team that has, you know, struggled, you know, immensely so far this stage when it does come to just the basic defensive nature. Actually, the second worst team on Labs defensively in the region, only 5% better than Hasib Warriors. So not really a great stat. Speak gets that one onto DCH, clears out top blue. I'll take that. Their first opening kill. And gives them slight advantage here in this 3rd round. Geary, though, Ready for another potential swing. He can very low on health, although the Adrenal Surge does give him just a wee bit more. Goo Mine annoying. Is there going to be another swing attempt? No. Nagiri has backed well and truly off, but not too far away. Indeed, he comes back for more. Just thought about maybe backing off, but at the last second, might have heard that Goo Mine and turned his way back over towards Blue Stairs. 90 seconds. A Seal making his way. And he spots ahead onto Scatman. Holding in cargo with the Boss G. Didn't land a single shot.
Boogie Auto Breach is looking to try and get value here from Seal. Air pressure down below. Onigiri was tracked, so forced back, as much of the rest of the defense will also escape back. So a minute to go in the round, and time management here still pretty sound for the attack. I'll need to try and get some value though from Vert. See some of those lines of sight that are being established, and that will keep the defense honest on the objective. I was going to try to box them in two particular positions that they want, or presumably a default plan position. Pop down the hatch and plant at the single wall. Like, being deployed by the Jack. It takes a hit of damage. 30 seconds on the clock. Divers don't look like they really have a large threat in this round as it stands.
Oh, nice 2 quick kills in a row. That makes life far more easy now for Direwolves to conclude this round with a win. Ryan stepped on again. Scatman and Onigiri overcome this deficit. There's not a lot of time. Certainly if they can deny plan or at least stop it from being able to go down. Harambe now looking to stick it. Scatman loses his life. Can Onigiri deny? No, at the last second. Souffle watching. Holds the cross nicely. And Direwolves on the board so far. Pretty similar nature to this game as what we got on Cafe with a 2-0 start to NOCAP. The response by Direwolves swift. And they're on the board as they take basement. Command server, we go now for the 4th round.
Yeah, pretty clean execute there in the end from Direwolves. They had to keep it pretty stock standard, and they're able to cover those crosses accordingly, and that's down to good timing and comms in the final portion of the round to be able to get that one across the line. And so it subverts the expectation that defense was going to be very strong defensively, at least in that first instance, able to get that result across the line. And so it gives them now a bit of a safety net on the attack. 2 rounds should suffice here in the first half. So it's all about finding a second here on the next rotation. Top floor last time out for Direwolves. It was pretty dicey. Some of the strongholds on the site itself weren't properly cleared. There's actually Mark, I believe, last up in that particular round, who's now up to 5-1. So it's been a pretty good day out for him so far.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, I mean, the issues continue, though, for Mr. Punch. He started 9-2 on Cafe, guys. Since that moment in time, he's only picked up 2 kills, but he's lost his life an extra 10 times. He has really started to struggle. Essentially 210 since that rehost. Whatever happened in that rehost, he has not come back into the server properly. NOCAP are going to need him at his best. I would imagine to close this one out nice and calmly in towards electrical DCH. Just a little poke and a prod, and that's kind of the way it went last time on this particular site. Direwolves really couldn't get full site control. They opened up IT. They got some pressure towards electrical. They did win a battle over towards blue, so they were definitely, you know, accessing most of the avenues towards site. They just couldn't quite get control.
NOCAP aren't having to play this particularly at aggressive, in an aggressive nature at the moment to slow down this attack. That was methodically looking to break down each part of this defense at the moment. IT breach is soft, so that can be opened up, already opened up. The Ash Charger said deeper for Bit of info gathering clearance, I presume. And Souffle now looking to take control of Warehouse. Warehouse wall itself is still reinforced and no Selmas left for the attack, so I don't know what the game plan is here from Direwolves. It's probably going to have to be a combination of pop blue pressure, maybe alert con. I take breach critical. But yeah, without this Warehouse wall open, it makes it far more difficult to clear a lot of these key positions through command center. We do see the Mav Torch though employed. A bit more high risk. Onigiri is peeking. So too is Scatman, but he falls.
The trends of Cafe continue now with Direwolves starting to find a couple of opening kills themselves. Onigiri loses this battle, and that's another one. Missed the punch, 2 in a row. Brings it back to a 3 versus 3, although Seal very low. Same as well with the Maverick and Harambe. I would imagine now actually NOCAP in the better of the two teams' position with only 15 seconds left. They are primed to be able to win this round and go 3-1 up. Mr. Punch finds 3. He has returned in a timely manner. And speaking of time, not much of it remaining as Bin Bin wants to fire that shot. He can't. He needs to start getting that diffuser down. Harambe clutches up though with the double kill. Harambe wins it for Direwolves and makes his moment count. Bin Bin had the kit and he needed Harambe to get them both, and he does.
Yeah, awkward moment there for DCH inside of Electrical, allowing those players to cross. I don't envy his position. If he stands there to hold down the angle, he likely dies to the pre-fire. But then got timed on the jiggle, looked to then play a passive. By that time, Diffuser had already crossed, and so that forced Mr. Punch to peek. So a little, I suppose it's classified as a misplay ultimately there in the end, but yeah, for DCH, it was such a tough position to play. Credit to Dials and being able to unlock that. They've now achieved 2.5 rounds. And NOCAP will send us back to this wildcard bomb site.
We're all tied up once again, 2-2 so far in this series, though Direwolves have yet to be capable of winning 3 rounds in a row, guys. Can they change that now? NOCAP did it once back on Cafe, and that was really the circuit breaker. That was when they kind of took control of this game. It was actually at a very similar point to this. They then went on and won 3 in a row to make it a 5-2 lead. Yeah, pressure on. Of course, it is Direwolves map pick, and of course, their spot at the major is, well, determining they win not only this map, but also Chalet. It's a long, difficult road ahead. You have to just take it 1 round at a time. The good news for them, though, is that everyone is now actually playing at a very equal level. You've either got 3 or 4 kills if you Direwolves, with Harambe leading the way, top fragging for Direwolves off the back of that double kill in the previous round. Of course, he struggled immensely on Cafe, went 1 and 9. So he's had a 400% increase.
Again, good work over towards the one wall. Harambe, 12. With the positions, get the ram into a position where they can make plays. Also an intriguing addition here as well. And those talent shields may facilitate something in the late round, depending on what kind of plant they want to go for. Maybe a different plant position is the objective. If I was last time, kitchen window was denied. A really good nitro cell from NOCAP.
Oh, there's one already in. Didn't realize Souffle had actually crossed. The timing on that was, well, a little bit unfortunate for Onigiri. He was holding to the right side, not expecting the fact that one had already made their way in. Opening kill for Direwolves again. 3 in a row found, but a big nitro cell from DCH. Mark will fall. And after a 5-1 start, now 5-1-3. Although Mr. Punch has finally regained his form. Scatman with a nitro as well, and suddenly NOCAP retake the lead. Kills left, right, and center here in this 5th round. It's an absolute bloodbath on Cafe and Kitchen. Mr. Punch will hold the angle towards lobby.
Diffuser. Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Did he get misdroned? Yeah.
Oh, how does he get Harambe there as well? Harambe really needs to be getting that trade. The round was probably lost. He peaks and unpeaks and just subsequently loses his life all too easily. And NOCAP once again deny the ability for Direwolves to win 3 rounds in a row. They retake the lead, go 3-2 up. And they head to basement, tank and assembly to look to close out this opening half.
Yeah, just something about that side. It continues to click well for NOCAP. I think the biggest determining factor was the double nitro, the success there in the round that was found from NOCAP, and then the lockdown over towards lobby from Mr. Punch was quite clinical as well. Dyer was going with the right, quote-unquote, right attacking play by trying to get control of above to then utilize the ramp, but that nitro cell play was able to deny. Basement last time out from Divers, it came down to a really nice late round execute. So expectation this time from NOCAP to maybe play a little bit more offsite, probably to try and deny more time and put more pressure on the late round so Divers can't make even the smallest of mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pressure certainly is with Direwolves, though. Lovely little panning vision across there from our Ops team.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse.
They already are one map down and staring down the barrel of having to come back here on Labs if they can't keep this game close on the scoreboard. NOCAP once again looking to try and find a 2-round advantage. And good to see Mr. Punch's return as well, now up 7-4 here on Labs. And a couple of really big rounds. Still, one aspect that NOCAP keeps, you know, having to go against them is these opening kills. Once again, at a deficit now. So that'll be in both maps deficit. And they turned that tide. They did it yesterday. Albeit against inferior opposition. Geary, I'm not going to lie, he is starting to lose these opening engagements far too often. Back on Cafe, now on Labs.
Yeah, I'm having a look back at the last time these two played as well. Onigiri was in a lot of entry engagements. However, went 1 and 2. On the flip side, in that match, Pika actually went 4-0 on entry. So, Onigiri's entry game here on Labs certainly in need of some improvement. Can Darwils, though, actually convert this? Thus far, every single round in this match, bar the last one, has resulted in a conversion. So, important round here for Darwils. Thankfully, for their sake, the numbers are in their favor.
Activating drone.
Still got Mr. Punch on site with those gas babes that can certainly deny a little bit of time. Well, he does need to be now careful above the Boogie Auto Breacher getting to work. So Harambe, an intriguing position here right next to Mr. Punch. On the Maverick, does not have the diffuser, so he's not tasked with that. Also just holding the cross. It does mean Mr. Punch, though, guys, is virtually stuck here.
Yeah, but he may also be undetected. Oh no, he's getting Jackal scanned at the moment. So that's really an unfortunate position for Mr. Punch to find himself in. Could have also maybe denied plant, but now that his position is known, Divers might be able to clear him.
Not a lot of time remaining, 20 seconds. Scatman on the rotate now up through Warehouse, looking to maybe catch someone off guard who has stayed behind here on this first floor. He hasn't spotted anyone, gets into a position to maybe deny a plant. That is the key win con right now for NOCAP, as Mr. Punch does get the kill on the Bin. Harambe still hasn't been able to do anything from that basement breach, and this is going to be a denial. Well, if they even wanted to try and plant it, they almost lost that round without even getting an attempt on the plant. That was a strange way to end the round, but NOCAP will happily take it and close things out 4-2 on the opening half.
Yeah, that's just a really good read from NOCAP in identifying the win con of denying plant from up above. They had the flames that were stalling out that push, and so it was just a matter of time before Scatman was going to be in a position to be able to deny, as you can see as well, also having just the presence of mind to make sure that nobody else from the attack did lurk up above to maybe try and find that particular kill. So good work again from NOCAP here on Labs, even after losing that first fight. And for Dials, that's yeah, a little bit of a disappointing way to conclude the half. Up until the last final 2 rounds of the half, every single time the team that had won the opening fight had won the round. But then they struggled to convert over towards cafeteria kitchen, and then again they're on basement getting sold out.
Fortified. 10 seconds to go.
So 3 more rounds for NOCAP to get themselves into a semi-final against Elevate. Direwolves now needing to fight from behind once again. Ultimately unable to overcome that deficit back on Cafe. Defense, of course, hasn't been a strong suit for Direwolves. The fascinating thing is actually their attacks on Labs have been where they've won the majority of their rounds. Think back to their win against the Sib Warriors, the loss to NOCAP. They struggled to defend. So every chance in which NOCAP can close this out now in this half. And looking to try and find Onigiri. Something a little cheeky towards IT. The one peeking though.
Wait, is that wall? Am I seeing that right? Is that electrified? I feel that I was bug. I think that's maybe why I didn't want to trade shot. Anyway, 5 versus 5. That's a quick work of the IT wall there from the attack. And Scatman has already taken a very advanced position. If Divers look to maybe pick this for info, could be primed for a kill. Do we see the attack of NOCAP go for more pressure over towards Warehouse? Do we see it a little more concentric? What's their idea going to be here? They have the tools available to go for anything. 3 EMPs, 3 Palmers, we'll have fuel, and the Maverick as well. And Onigiri Ball just says, okay, let's just wide swing this and find the open pick. Does so. In the meantime, Mark did fall though, so effectively a 4v4. That's so aggressive.
That's so aggressive, yeah. I mean, Souffle pulls it off, low on health.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
So is Mark, though. Right now, it is about as even as it can be between the two teams. 4v4, 1 player on either side, very low health remaining. GCH, though, loses his life to Bin Bin.
It just swings and no one was holding it.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
This round falling apart now for NOCAP. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. Down a player on command server where it's already so easy for the defenders to cover all angles. Left side electrical. Seal was tucked in. Mr. Punch wasn't wary. He was playing the doorway. Little did he know Seal was in a more aggressive position, and this one's done. That attack from NOCAP really just flattened towards the end.
I mean, we saw 2 massive instances of just huge over-aggression that NOCAP was not expecting. The initial peak from Souffle over towards IT. Able to catch one off guard, and then we saw the swing from Bin Bin Warehouse as NOCAP were looking to try and open up that warehouse wall. Both of those picks probably should have been punished, and it would have flipped the result of the round. There was the first. I didn't think we got the second. Yeah, this is already after that. And proved to be so costly, the rest of the team then just lost the pretty classic crossfires that established on that site. So good work from Divers. I don't know how consistent or reliable that over-aggression is going to be, but throwing it out there in the first defense is certainly a valid strategy, and it worked out well.
So 4-3, NOCAP. Yeah, certainly squandering an opportunity there to really extend the lead, the lead that they had back on Cafe when they went up 5-2, not to be here. Good signs for Direwolves, though, as they held that really nicely on command server and certainly had some very aggressive positions. So let's kind of speak highly to the fact that they're not going to go out without at least taking their chances.
Attackers are moving out to locate
Gridlock in action here for Mr. Punch. Bring the Ram as well with the Buck, so it's going to be pretty common knowledge here that NOCAP will get themselves to this first floor control and look to open up quite a lot of the floorboards.
Yeah, they will have to be careful of the triple nitro lineup though from the defense, so certainly something to track. How aggressive Divers want to be with that utility early on. Keep in mind that might want to balance that out against Plankton potential as well. fall off roam employed from Dials. Onigiri able to clearly, pretty quickly clear that. And so, time shouldn't be a massive issue here for NOCAP, provided they continue this attack going forward. Truck Stingers followed by a frag grenade from Mr. Punch as they take control through Warehouse. Mark wins the first fight. Gunfight elsewhere over towards Games though, as Onigiri has taken a hit. Do they have a read on Souffle?
Oh,
that is... wow. Very aggressive. I mean, the Nitro was admittedly half a second away from ending Onigiri's life, but still, it was very aggressive again from Souffle, but better punch.
Souffle can get back around the corner there. Maybe Onigiri loses his life altogether. But NOCAP will happily take that two-player advantage now, and this basement site is suddenly very vulnerable. Seal sensing maybe he needs to get the kill back to try and offset the imbalance within the server. Gasbabe was thrown out. This round, you would imagine, has well and truly gone the way of NOCAP, looking to go up 5-3 and looking to really put Direwolves to the sword. Bin Bin and Pika. Two players remain for Direwolves where they need to get 5 kills between them. It's not an easy task, and Bin Bin already very low and now dead over towards Cargo Stairs. Well, it's going to be a case of all 5 players, guys, dying essentially above sight. It means the roam game evidently did not go well for them.
Yeah, they didn't hold on to top floor for very long, tried to play fall off, and then it fell apart over towards storage games, etc., that portion of the map. Souffle went for the Nitro as opposed to peeking. Either way, still over aggressed, and then that point onwards, the remaining part of the defense was in a very awkward position in the 3 versus 5, forced to try and make aggressive plays, but was a good flank watch from NOCAP. They held good positions, allowed the others to get to work on Vert as well. So there wasn't a lot of teeth in that defense from Direwolves, and certainly not rewarded for the aggression, perhaps, that we kind of saw in the round prior. So a reattempt on basement here for Direwolves. We'll see how they go this time around.
Well, I mean, this is just kind of like a do or die reattempt, isn't it? Where you kind of just say, well, we can improve, we can certainly play that a little bit better, fall back, play sight, find different avenues to find a win. If it doesn't work, then you're 3 rounds down, and I guess you just go back up above and hope for the best, and in the next rotation that you're just perfect the whole way through. Otherwise, it could be stage on the line. And while it's not match point this round, it does kind of feel like it will be a very difficult prospect to overcome for Direwolves if NOCAP can get a 6-3 scoreline to go their way after this. Same lineup again for NOCAP. They run it back, no change. Direwolves must win this round in my mind if they're going to have any chance of bringing back Nighthaven Labs. RT opened up, Souffle top floor contesting towards server. Doesn't want to peek the breach though. We know NOCAP will do the due diligence of clearing out this top floor as Onigiri. A little bit 50-50 so far in these early engagement battles. Right now 5-6. Hasn't been awful by any means, but not the superstar performance that we typically come to find that he is able to achieve on a consistent basis. Live drone, but doesn't go through, and he just oversteps the mark. Poor positioning from Onigiri, and again, Guzzy has lost out in the roam clear.
Yeah, last time we saw Souffle fall off the angle very early, and so maybe NOCAP and Onigiri anticipated that again. Proves to be a rather costly oversight though, and Souffle able to get away to storage now. NOCAP looking for the easiest point of resistance at the moment, at least, and they'll take towards control. Get the ramp to work. I won't contest get the likes of that lounge side just yet. So that's okay groundwork, but it's probably not going to be enough to dislodge these plants. It's really not going to be enough to drag these other roamers off their current positions. Connector being one of them. Unfortunate disconnect though from Direwolves in synchronization with the cage, and that actually now puts Bin Bin in a really awkward position as he needs to try and get back towards the site, and he doesn't really know what's clear. So this is quite awkward.
Doesn't that just change the complexion of things so quickly? the unfortunate nature of this game sometimes.
Bomb located by a
Still, one that could be overcome. 50 seconds remaining, down a player, but you are on defense, so hold your angles, win your ones, and certainly a round that's still winnable. Force NOCAP to clear you, to hit you, but here comes Bin Bin. Potential flank op, but you've got the track stingers in your way. Wants to just hold for now. Impact grenade to clear a way forward. 30 seconds, but maybe just feels hesitant that his position is known and potentially watched, but no one there. We are aware of that. Sight is being hit. One still above. Good angle held by Pika. Smoked off for the next one, but should be able to find this kill indeed. Scatman not even watching. Why not? Your player, teammate just died. But they do kill Bin Bin, who I thought was actually going to be a real thorn in the side on that flank. Mr. Punch will get the plant down successfully. It's a 2v1 post-plant retake. DCH to play contact. Nitrocell, is it good? No. Misses the mark against that tank. It hides the cover of the explosion. And Pika at the doorway is stuck. He needed that Nitrocell to find the kill. I imagine we'll go into this tech. But we will also now see NOCAP take 3 match and series points going into the other side of it.
Yeah, there was that little bit of a feed from NOCAP through the double window vault through to that pillar position in the late round, and I thought it would prove costly, but in the meantime they did shut down any flank opportunity from Bin Bin. Plant then secured and the cross was held. So good work from NOCAP, and with it, series point.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't take too long for this tech pause. NOCAP would love to just kind of keep that momentum going and look to close this one out, and they would be booking their place into the semi-final against Elevate. What a storyline that is, guys. I mean, I know this game's not over just yet, but kind of just talking about it through this tech pause, you know, you're not on the desk tonight, but it's somewhat of a tale that has years and years of history in it.
Yeah, yeah, certainly a lot of lore. And yeah, it would be quite the matchup. Still, though, could potentially be a siege to be played between now and then, rather, if Divers are able to fight back in this particular match. Unfortunately, though, it does look a little bit grim for them at the moment. A heartbreaking disconnect in that previous round as well. And it's all smiles in the NOCAP camp at the moment. Will they have enough to be a realistic chance against Elevate? I think so. But I haven't seen enough tonight for them to go in as favourites. I think Elevate have certainly stepped it up quite a bit this stage, and NOCAP are lagging behind in that development game.
Where to for Direwolves? Unfortunately, some gloom faces from their perspective as we're just getting this game back underway. Clearly from cameras you can tell who's winning this series and who's on the verge of losing it. 3 match points, 3 series points for NOCAP. Direwolves, it's going to be again not even really close, guys, but just they're multiple steps behind the direct competition once again. Another stage that's going to just feel as if they're somewhat making up the numbers.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I think we need to see Direwolves come back to SI quals and then hopefully a 2025 campaign with a rejuvenated roster. I think it's pretty evident from how this particular stage has played out so far that Harambe's time is probably coming to an end. He hasn't been able to keep pace. Whether or not that was even the original plan for him to play this stage, I'm not entirely sure, but I think if they can inject some new talent into the team and build around that, there is potential, but not entirely sure. You know what I'm also not sure about, Jake? When we're going to get back into this game. Unfortunately, this tech pause has been extended and a rehost is required. So go grab a drink, and on the other side, we'll be back for the conclusion of this map.
Well, we just had a longer break than what we've had so far of Nighthaven Labs, but we are back and straight into a tactical timeout as well. Souffle's back in the server, Guz, as we look to close things out. 3 rounds in a row required for Direwolves. So far, in this entire series, they have not managed it. So my expectations are quite low, and I wouldn't be too surprised if NOCAP just finished this off here and now.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of tilt factor setting in for Direwolves. We saw even prior to the official rehost, as we were flicking between the cams, there was a big difference between the body language being exuded by NOCAP. They were up and about, smiling, they were happy. Direwolves understandably looked a little bit more glum. Maybe though off the back of this tack timeout, Juicy can say some inspiring words, but they will require a perfect 3-round rotation to push this game to overtime.
Yeah, it's going to be, you would imagine, I think, a little bit too difficult for Direwolves to get all 3. Might get 1 or 2 here or there, but to get 3 in a row is a completely different beast altogether. At the very least, though,
10 seconds to go.
can finish this off the right way. No, you know, funky forfeits to close this one out. Well, certainly an extended delay there.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Harambe onto the Clash. Looking at some of the statistics, though, of course, everything wiped by the rehost. Mr. Punch, 12-6. Leading all comers, the only player inside of the server, double digits so far on Labs. And the entry battle's been, again, hit and miss if you're NOCAP. Just the 4 opening kills to the 5 of Direwolves. That's certainly going to be, I think, a big factor going into the semi-final against Elevate. Scatman looking to open up IT.
Yeah, the Maverick bring a bot here by NOCAP to facilitate this IT wall. The Clash, an interesting addition, and Harambe currently posted up beside a con. It's a 3-man stack from the defense, perhaps in anticipation for rotation from the attack after IT wall gets opened up. They do have ranged hard breach. Do NOCAP the 3 Salmers, which can be used over towards that con side. Candella's being cooked by Mr. Punch at the moment. First to be deployed in through con. Line of sight available, and a player has been put on an island. Mr. Punch elects not to commit to that after being inside of the electricity from the Clash. So good work from Harambe just to stall out what could have been a pretty disastrous opening for DW.
This round feels like it's by pretty quickly. Only 30 remaining. ECH trying to play off of that death mark, but his shot's not landing at all. And in the end, the actual shots back onto him do land to get him down to about half HP. Punch through con.
Reloading.
And the death mark onto Souffle. Della getting cooked right now. Will there be a push as DCH does kill the bandit off the back of the death mark? Open a kill for NOCAP. Now looking to open up the con wall. Could this be the beginning of the end for Direwolves in terms of their stage and their chances of going to Montreal? Bin Hatcher onto Onigiri. Once again, the Little Master struggling on his entries, but nice from Mark and Mr. Punch to find 2 in quick succession. And Seal will fall. Only the Clash will remain. Shield put behind the shoulder, and we will finish this off. Well, that was certainly lightning quick in comparison to the technical issues that we just had, Gus. We were in and out after the 10-minute rehost, and we're done here for this quarterfinal. NOCAP will progress forward, and awaiting them will be Elevate in the semi-final in a couple of days' time. For Direwolves, their stage is done in terms of Montreal. A 5th plus place match awaits them. And look, like that ending was about as bad as the 10-minute rehost. Rob, as we do close things out pretty quickly. It's always like that, isn't it? When we're just like, we're sitting there, we're waiting, issues. We get back in, game is done, and we move forward. I don't think anyone is surprised by the result.
No, unfortunately not for Direwolves. They have not had the greatest stage. It's abysmal would not be the right word to use. I think that's a little rough, but it's certainly been lacking in far too many departments. And I think map 1, you could have made an argument for it, but map 2, I think, has gone to show the full display, unfortunately, for where Direwolves are at. And it's just, it's a good note for me, Dev, because when we look at it, it means it's a building stage. It means that they can now go back to the drawing board and have a look at where things were going wrong, what players may potentially need to either move roles or potentially move on entirely.
I think that Direwolves exceeded expectations for me, considering the roster change they had to make in Stage 1, but it's still not good enough. And to be honest, like, the real disappointment is this exact map. Like, I thought Cafe was actually pretty great, considering it was NOCAP's pick, considering Direwolves not great on it. But going on to Nighthaven, like, we've seen these teams play this map before, and it was closer than this time. Direwolves picked it knowing that they'd lost it to NOCAP before, thinking that they could have fixed their issues, and they ended up with a worse result in the end, which to me is the huge disappointment. Like, yeah, this game was a bit of a stuff around. It took a little bit longer than it should have, but Direwolves just, they were not ready for this. I mean, you know, Bandit dying to Deimos in that last round after already the Deimos whiffed the initial shots, like, just a bad read from Direwolves. You have to fall back, and yeah, to be honest, they do need to make roster changes after this stage. I think that, at least my take on it, is the roster changes that they made coming into this stage was more of a band-aid fix than a permanent fix. But I know the talent pool is incredibly challenging in their region to try and find players that speak the language and try and find players at their level. So, yeah, maybe at some point they have to make the hard decision to switch to English and bring in some English players, English-speaking players like we've seen from Elevate. Obviously, a lot of those players used to play on non-English speaking teams. Now they all come in English. Same thing for Bleed. They've been able to make imports because of the language. But yeah, unfortunately, the talent pool's not that deep here for Direwolves.
No, it's not. But look, at the end of the day, yes, you can make the mistakes, but someone has to capitalize on them. Someone who is magical. Someone who gives us unforgettable moments in this region. Let's welcome in that man himself, Onigiri. It's wonderful to see you again. It feels like we were just speaking to you last night and we had an inappropriate comment, but that's okay. That was last night. We forget about it. Onigiri, look, great to see you again, mate. Convincing Labs, there's no doubt about it. Cafe was a little close. How does the overall series feel? You know, coming into this, you said best of threes is your territory. That's where you guys feel most comfortable. Do you think that that's true now?
Yeah, I think it's true. We did a great job. I mean, we might lose some momentum during the technical timeout. After the technical timeout, someone lose the momentum, but we managed to bring it back. So we pretty impressed with the result today, and we know that they might counter on the Nighthaven, but yes, again, I have to say that my team I love my team. They are the best, and it's better than group stage for the Nighthaven.
Onigiri, I don't want to obviously sour the mood too much, but I think also looking ahead, you've got a big game coming now against Elevate. They've been pretty much flawless this stage, only losing to Bleed. I think the biggest issue with your team, and I don't know how aware you guys are of this, but, you know, like entry kills, opening kills, you guys are like rated bottom 2 in the entire Asia League. Is that something you guys are aware of, trying to fix, trying to be a little bit more clean with your entries so that you're not constantly playing, you know, this kind of like 4v5 catch up in rounds?
In terms of like opening kill and things, our team look the other way. Like, we feel like even we got like the god kill, first opening kill, or like we got picked up earlier, is still an info for the team. Stat doesn't matter as long as we win the game, I guess.
True.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting
Giga
take.
Chad.
Yeah, very Giga Chad take from you, mate. It's like how you guys keep going to that kitchen bomb site on Nighthaven, even though statistically it is the worst bomb site in the game, but you guys are pretty damn good at it, so I can't argue with you on that. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about this Elevate match coming up. Obviously, we expected, or at least I personally expected, your match in the BO1s to be a little bit closer against Elevate, considering that when your team played them in the EWC qualifiers, you're actually one round away from beating them. So realistically, break down Elevate for me as an opponent. Like, what do you think to expect out of that game? Like, how close do you think you are behind them, or potentially even at their level or ahead of them?
Me personally, I think we can beat Elevate after we see how they play yesterday. Like, Direwolf can take them to up to 5 rounds, So I think if we play like today and be prepared and not like losing our focus on mentality, I think we have a good chance to win against them. Of course, we cannot underestimate because they have a pretty good player like Speakeasy and Ape. So yeah, we will try our best for sure to win against Elevate. And shout out to Blast for like the postponement for my midterm exam later. I appreciate it. So yeah, you don't have to be worried that I'm gonna play on the Elevate match for sure.
Wow, that's big. That's very exciting, my friend. I'm looking forward to that matchup. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
Thank you everyone. Manic, Xenox, Dev, everyone for this tournament
sir.
and interview. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, NoCap fan also. We will try our best to win against Elevate, and we'll see about that. And I hope you have a good day.
Onigiri, we'll have a fantastic day, even though there's only an hour and 40 minutes left of it. Thank you very much, mate. Best of luck against Elevate.
Yes, sir. You have a good night.
There we go. It's
Legend.
again, true.
It's got to be a good
true
semi-final.
legend. Oh, it is. It is, and especially when you start to hear like the way the team's thinking now, like and kind of the momentum they're bringing into this semi-final. I think it might have been nicer to have a little bit more of a closer context with Direwolves warm into the best of threes as we get closer to that matchup. Obviously, you know, scrims are great. You can prepare like that, Dev, but nothing really beats on the day competition, single elimination, win or go home. That's just nothing can replicate.
Yeah, and these guys have a lot of experience in playing in those high-stakes games, so I don't think they get too in their head about it. It's really just about focusing, as Onigiri was saying, and yeah, apparently he's managed to delay his midterm exam so he can just focus up on that semi-final, which is great for him. And yeah, one of the big talking points we've had is consistency for this roster, because on their day, they can look great. Like on Nighthaven, really confident attacks. I mean, same can be said for Cafe. That's usually where a lot of these teams that struggle to break into the very top tend to fumble. But yeah, we don't always see that out of them. Like every now and then, Onigiri, like especially in that first map, right? Like he was fragged out of his mind, so was Mr. Punch, and then like absolutely dropped the ball in the second half. So consistency is what these guys need to work on. Hopefully getting in that right mindset will help them get there. And yeah, to be honest, after stage one, Direwolves beating NoCap at the time as your leader in the quarterfinals, I thought this was going to be a close contest. It wasn't. And now for me, the storyline's changed a little bit. Like I look back and I hear Onigiri speak, and I honestly think that semi-final could be extremely close, and maybe even NoCap can win it.
Oh, jeez. I mean, that's some cope, but we all love it. We'd love to see it happen, that's a damn sure. But it is time for us to go to a break. First quarterfinal done for the stage. NoCap go on to play Elevate next week. However, we've still got that one more match. Rival Esports debut in the playoffs here for the Asia League as they take on the big dogs Fury. We'll be back after this.